Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will be conducting the pre-bid conference for 2 civil works projects. To start with, please all stand for a prayer.
Let's pray. Almighty God and Father, we praise and thank you for this day. You have given us another opportunity to appreciate life and to fulfill our mission to disseminate the peace of God. Please help us for our families. Help us to live your values. We are ready to follow our resources. Father, as a sovereign efforts, especially today, as we conduct the evening conference, guide us in our discussions, enlighten our minds in every decisions that we make. Give us the grace to be effectively the cause of our servants. Let us advance programs and strategies so that we can achieve our objectives for your great glory. For this we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
And for the attendance, we have here our back chairperson, Engineer May Tabiano. And for the vice back chairperson, we have Engineer Francisca Malpon. And for the back members, Miss Joy Duspar, Engineer Elidula Zulia, and Engineer Troy Villanueva. And for the DPWH, we have Engineer Adrian Bon Villarreal, Engineer Flor Angel Gadnanan, Engineer Giovanni Servano, Miss Gail Candice Cañete, Engineer Rona Ortiz. And also for the back secretariat member, we have Miss Cherry Jean Yesca and Miss Ebony Calio. And we have also a representative from Planning and Design Section, Engineer Paulo Macalalag. We don't have any attendance from prospective bidders who attended this afternoon's pre-bid conference.
Contract ID 24GE0014. Construction of concrete road, construction of Sitio Taras, Barangay Calaya, Tusalong, Tumbalugo, Second Junction, Guimaras Circumferential Road, Sitio Pandan, Barangay San Antonio Road, Barangay Calaya, and Barangay San Antonio, Nueva Valencia, Guimaras. Location, San Antonio, Nueva Valencia, Guimaras. With an APC of 9,900,000. Source of fund, FY 2024 National Expenditure Program, Early Procurement Activity. Contract duration, 63 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents, 10,000 pesos. Contract ID 24GE0015. Rehabilitation of paved road, improvement of Oracle Concordia Butconaway Road, Nueva Valencia, Guimaras. Location, Concordia Sur, Nueva Valencia, Guimaras. With an APC of 9,900,000. Source of fund, FY 2024 National Expenditure Program, Early Procurement Activity. Contract duration, 96 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents, 10,000 pesos. The scope of works for 24GE0014. Part B, Other General Requirements. Part C, Earthworks. Part D, Sub-base and Base Course. Part E, Surface Courses. Part H, Miscellaneous Structures. Scope of works for 24GE0015. Part B, Other General Requirements. Part C, Earthworks. Part D, Sub-base and Base Course. Part E, Surface Courses. Part F, Bridge Construction. Part G, Drainage and Slope Protection Structures. Part H, Miscellaneous Structures. The required pickup license for 24GE0014 and 24GE0015 projects are as follows. Size range, small b, license category C and D, single largest project above 500,000 up to 10 million pesos. allowable range of contract cost up to 15 million pesos. Major categories of works for 24 GE 0014 and 24 GE 0015. Roads construction PCCP. Similar categories of works: roads rehabilitation PCCP, roads construction tunnel PCCP. Qualifiers must have completed reconstruction and reblocking including base course covering 50% of the item of work of the project. May include airport runways, taxiways, and aprons. Since these projects are under early procurement activities, it is understood that the funds for these projects are to be approved for FY 2024 for the information and guidance of all interested prospective bidders. General condition of contract. Notes on the general conditions of contract. The general conditions of contract in the section read in conjunction with the special conditions of contract and section 5 and other documents listed therein. Should be a complete document expressing all the rights and obligations of the parties. Matters governing performance of the contractors, payments under the contract, or matters affecting the risk, rights, and obligations of the parties under the contract are included in the GCC and special conditions of contract. Any complementary informations which may be needed shall be introduced only through the special conditions of contract. Number 1, scope of contract. The contract shall include all such items, although not specifically mentioned, that can be reasonably inferred in being required for its completion, as if such item were expressly mentioned herein. All the provisions of RA number 9184 and its 2016 revised IRR, including the generic procurement manual and associated issuances, constitute the primary source for the terms and conditions of the contract and thus applicable in contract implementation. Herein clauses shall serve as the secondary source for the terms and conditions of the contract. This is without prejudice to section 74.1 and 74.2 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA number 9184, allowing the DPPB to amend the IRR, which shall be applied to all procurement activities, the advertisements, posting, or invitation of which were issued after the effectivity of the said amendment. Number 2, sectional completion of works. If sectional completion is specified in the special conditions of contract, reference in the conditions of contract to the works, the completion date and the intended completion date shall apply to any section of the work other than references to the completion date and intended completion date for the whole of the works. Number 3, possession of site. The procuring entity shall give possession of all or parts of the site to the contractor based on the schedule of delivery indicated in the SCC, which corresponds to the execution of the works. If the contractor suffers delay or incurs cost from failure on the part of the procuring entity to give possession in accordance with the terms of this clause, the procuring entity's representative shall give the contractor a contract time extension and certify such sum as fair to cover the cost incurred, which sum shall be paid by a procuring entity. If possession of a portion is not given by the above date, the procuring entity will be deemed to have delayed the start of the relevant activities. The resulting adjustment in contract time to address such delay may be addressed through contract extension provided under Annex E of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. Number 4, the contractor's obligation. The contractor shall employ the key personnel named in the schedule of key personnel indicating their designation in accordance with ITB Clause 10.3 and the specified in the BDS to carry out the supervision of the works. The procuring entity will approve and propose replacement of key personnel only if their relevant qualifications and abilities are equal to or better than those of the personnel listed in the schedule.
Number 5, performance security. Within 10 calendar days from receipt of the notice of award from the procuring entity, but in no case later than the signing of the contract by both parties, the successful bidder shall furnish performance security in any of the forms prescribed in Section 39 of the 2016 revised IRR. The contractor, by entering into the contract with the procuring entity, acknowledges the right of the procuring entity to institute action pursuant to RA number 3688 against any subcontractor, be they an individual, firm, partnership, corporation, or association supplying the contractor with labor, materials, and/or equipment for the performance of this contract. Number 6, site investigation reports. The contractor in preparing the bid shall rely on any site investigation reports referred to in the ECC supplemented by any information obtained by the contractor. Number 7, warranty. In case the contractor fails to undertake the repair works under Section 62.2.2 of the 2016 revised IRR, the procuring entity shall forfeit its performance security, subject its properties to attachment or garnishment proceedings, and perpetually disqualify it from participating in any public bidding. All payables of the GOP in its favor shall be offset to recover the costs. The warranty against structural defects, failures, except that occasioned on force majeure, shall cover the period from the date of issuance of the certificate of final acceptance by the procuring entity. Specific duration of the warranty is found in the ECC. Liability of the contractor. Subject to additional provisions if any set forth in the ECC, the contractor's liability under this contract shall be as provided by the laws of the Republic of the Philippines. If the contractor is joint venture, all partners to the joint venture shall be jointly and severally liable to the procuring entity. Number 9, termination for other causes. Contract termination shall be initiated in case it is determined prima facie by the procuring entity that the contractor has engaged before or during the implementation of the contract in unlawful deeds and behaviors relating to contract acquisition and implementation, such as but not limited to corrupt, fraudulent, collusive, coercive, and obstructive practices as stated in ITB Clause 4. Number 10, day works. Subject to the guidelines of the variation order in Annex A of the 2016 revised IRR of RA number 9184, and if applicable as indicated in the ECC, the day works rates and contractors' fee shall be used for small additional amounts of work only when the procuring entity's representative has given written instructions in advance for additional work to be paid for in that way. Number 11, program of work. The contractor shall submit to the procuring entity's representative for approval the said program of work showing the general methods, arrangements, order, and timing for all the activities in the works. The submissions of the program of work are indicated in the ECC. The contractor shall submit to the procuring entity's representative for approval an updated program of work at intervals no longer than the period stated in the ACC. If the contractor does not submit an updated program of work within this period, the procuring entity's representative may withhold the amount stated in the ACC from the next payment certificate and continue to withhold this amount until the next payment after the date on which the overdue program of work has been submitted. Number 12, instructions, inspections, and audits. The contractor shall permit the GOP or the procuring entity to inspect the contractor's accounts and records relating to the performance of the contractor and have them audited by auditors of the GOP or procuring entity as may be required. Number 13, advance payment. The procuring entity shall, upon a written request of the contractor, which shall be submitted as a contract document, make an advance payment to the contractor in an amount not exceeding 15% of the total contract price to be paid in lump sum or at the most 2 installments according to the schedule specified in the ACC, subject to the requirements in Annex A of the 2016 revised IRR of RA number 9184. Number 14, progress payments. The contractor will submit a request for payment for a work accomplished. Such request for payment shall be verified and certified by the procuring entity's representative, project engineer, except as otherwise stipulated in the ECC. Materials and the equipment delivered on the site but not completely put in place shall not be included for payment. 15, operating and maintenance manuals. If required, the contractor will provide as-built drawings and or operating and maintenance manuals as specified in the ECC. If the contractor does not provide the drawing and or manuals by the date stated above, or they do not receive the procuring entity's representative's approval, the procuring entity's representative may withhold the amount stated in the ECC from the payments due to the contractor.
Special conditions of contract. Notes on the special conditions of contract. Similar to the BTS, the clauses in this section are intended to assist the procuring entity in providing contract-specific information in relation to corresponding clauses in the GCC found in Section 4. The special conditions of contract complement the GCC specifying contractual requirements linked to the special circumstances of the procuring entity, the procuring entity's country, the sector, and the works procured. In preparing this section, the following aspects should be checked. A. Information that complements provisions of the GCC must be incorporated. B. Amendments and or supplements to provisions of the GCC as necessitated by the circumstances of the specific purchase must also be incorporated. However, no special condition which defeats or negates the general intent and purpose of the provisions of the GCC should be incorporated herein.
Specifications. Note on specification. A set of precise and clear specification is a prerequisite for bidders to respond realistically and competitively to the requirements of the procuring entity without qualifying or conditioning their bids in the context of international competitive bidding. The specification must be drafted to permit the widest possible competition and, at the same time, present a clear statement of the required standard of workmanship, materials, and performance of the goods and services to be produced. Only if this is done with the objectives of economy, efficiency, and fairness in procurement be realized, responsiveness of bids be ensured, and the subsequent task of bid evaluation facilitated. The specification should require that all goods and materials to be operated and the works be new, unused, of the most recent or current models and incorporate all recent improvements in design and material and rest provided otherwise in the contract. Samples of specification from previous similar projects are useful in this respect. The use of metric units is mandatory. Most specifications are normally written specifically by the procuring entity or its representative to suit the works at hand. There is no standard set of specification for universal application in all sectors in all regions, but there are established principles and practices which are reflected in these PBDs. These are considerable advantages in standardizing general specification for repetitive works in recognized public sectors such as highways, ports, railways, urban housing, irrigation, and water supply. In the same country or region where similar conditions prevail. The general specification should cover all classes of workmanship, materials, and equipment commonly involved in construction, although not necessarily to be used in a particular works contract. Deletion or addenda should then adapt the general specification to the particular works. Care must be taken in drafting specification to ensure that they are not restrictive. In the specification of standards for goods, materials, and workmanship, recognized international standards should be used as much as possible. Whether other particular standards are used, materials and workmanship that met other alternative standards and which ensure substantially equal or higher quality than the standards mentioned and will also be acceptable. The following clause may be inserted in the SCC. Sample clause, equivalency of standard and codes. Wherever reference is made in the contract to specific standard and codes to be met by the goods and materials to be furnished and work performed or tested, the provisions of the latest current edition or revision of the relevant standard and codes and effect shall apply, unless otherwise expressly stated in the contract. Where such standards and codes are national or relate to a particular country or region, other authoritative standard that ensure a substantially equal or higher quality than the standards and codes specified will be accepted subject to the procuring entity's representatives prior review and written consent. Differences between the standard specified and the proposed alternative standard shall be fully described in writing by the contractor and submitted to the procuring entity's representative at least 28 days prior to the date when the contractor desires the procuring entity's representative's consent. In the event the procuring entity's representative determines that such proposed deviation do not ensure substantially equal or higher quality, the contractor shall comply with the standards specified in the documents. These notes are intended only as information for the procuring entity or the person drafting the bidding documents. They should not be included in the final bidding documents.
For drawings and bill of quantities, please see the uploaded files on PhilGIPS and DPWH website. These are the documents comprising the bid: legal documents, PhilGIPS registration, SEC registration or DTI registration, mayor's permit, tax clearance. Technical documents, requirements, statement of ongoing contracts, statement of bidder's single largest completed contracts, pickup license or special pickup JV license, bid security, organizational chart, list of contractors' major equipment, list of contractors' minimum materials testing equipment, omnibus sworn statement, ITR and financial statement, NFCC computation, and valid joint venture agreement if applicable. Financial documents requirements, financial bid form, bill of quantities, detailed estimates including summary sheet, quarterly, monthly cash flow, and payment schedule. All documents shall be printed in A4 format, tab, and bounded. Please attach the bidding documents in the technical component of your bid. For bids to be submitted electronically online, the following procedures should be observed following DO 87 series of 2020. Number 1, submission of electronic official receipt of purchase of the bidding documents. Number 2, confirmation of the electronically submitted official receipt. Number 3, preparation and submission of an electronic bid. Number 4, modification of an electronic bid. Number 5, non-participation in the bidding. Number 6, withdrawal of electronic bid. Number 7, opening of the electronic bid. Number 8, filing convention in case of a joint venture bidder. Bid opening for 24 GE 0014 and 24 GE 0015 shall be on December 12, 2023, Tuesday at 9 a.m. at second floor bidding room, DPWH Guimaras District Engineering Office, San Miguel, Hordan, Guimaras. Bids will be opened in the presence of the bidder's representative who choose to attend. Late bids shall not be accepted. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically online. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. Similar to manual submission, the guidelines for the preparation and submission of an electronic bid are contained in the BDS. Bids must be duly received by the Back Secretariat for manual submission or at electronic bids_Guimaras at dpwh.gov.ph for electronic submission on or before December 12, 2023, Tuesday at 9 a.m. All bids must be accompanied by a bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITB Clause 18. Any clarification? Since there is no representative from the contractor,